Hello friends, today we are going to show you how to assemble a PC by yourself and identifying connectors on the motherboard. We have a brand new casing. Let's unbox it first. This is the face side and the manufacturer's logo here. Now let's open the side cover and see what is inside. Here you can drag it then open. Here we find the connectors of the casing and let's identify them. These are the front panel connectors, or some people says front header connectors. Here we have 5 wires, one for hard disk, one for reset switch, one for power LEDs, and one for power switch. There are other 2 connectors we find inside the casing. This is for front USB connector. And here you find the missing connector, then it will can easily identify the directions. The other connector is for front audio. And it also has a missing pin. This is the front USB connector. This can be connected only if your motherboard supported for USB 3.0. My motherboard does not support it. This is the i3 second gen processor. There are 2 side cuts, so you can easily identify the directions of fixing it. When you're fixing the processor to the motherboard, you have to be very careful because processor pins actually on the motherboard, so you will get it bent if you mistakenly fix it to the wrong side. Now we have fixed it onto the motherboard. So make sure the lock is perfectly connected. So this is the RAM card. This RAM card is DDR3 technology. This in the motherboard also you will have a notch in between pins in the RAM slot, so gently push it onto the RAM slot. Do not push hard. So there are two sideway locks. It will automatically locks. Now we are going to connect the front panel connectors. Here are the front header or front panel connector on the motherboards. You will find the same way power switch, reset switch, hard disk light and power lights also, and you will find front USB connectors on the motherboard. There are 3 connectors. And this is the front audio connector. Here are the front panel connectors of the casing. First we are going to fix it, a power switch. This is the power switch. These 2 pins are for power switch. First you need to know the directions. Now behind the connector you will find a down arrow symbol, so there you can identify the connectors on the motherboard. So the direction it's marks on the motherboard also. There you find the very thick line, so it will indicates the plus. Yes, here the reset switch, it also has the down arrow symbol. This is hard disk LED light. It also has the down arrow symbol. So it will depicts the directions. This is the power LED lights. It has a plus minus 2 connectors. One is for plus, one is for minus. So the plus connector and the minus connector you have to fix it separately. The corner one is for plus pin, the other one is minus pin. Here the plus pin, so it indicates here, see, the other one is minus. Yes, okay, now we have finished connecting the front panel connector. This is the USB connector for front USB. Here the missing pin. In the same way you will find the connectors on the motherboards. One pin is missing, so you can easily identify the direction and fix it easily. This is the front audio. Here also the missing pin. In the same way you will find one missing pin on the motherboard also, so can fix it easily without making mistakes. Or on the wrong side, of course, you will make by mistakenly you yes, we fix it perfectly. This is the CPU fan. This is the CPU fan, so you can easily identify this is for I series. Here is the fan connector. Before that we need to apply heatsink compound onto the processor. Here is the lock system, so you need to pull the lock up to release the lock. So in the same way you have to do the other ones also. Fix it onto the motherboards. See. So here is the lock. There is an arrow to indicate unlock and lock it. So once pushing it and turn it to the other side to lock it. Fan connector, now you can fix it to the motherboard. Here's the fan connector on the motherboard. Here is the power supply. This is the AC connector and the power on off switch is also there. This is the main connector, 24 pin connector, and we will have a 4 pin connector for processor power. It also has the lock system, so on the motherboard's female connector also has the same way, and you can easily identify the directions of fixing it because the lock is there, so fix it perfectly. Here the connector, it also has a lock, so by pressing in you can release the lock. Motherboard connector also has a little notch on it, it will lock the connector. So once press it, yes, perfectly connected. There are 4 screws for power supply unit. These are the connectors to fix the motherboard onto the casing. Here you find the screw holes there. In the same way you can fix it and customize it, because you will find some different sizes motherboards. This is the SATA data cable. This is our hard disk. SATA hard disk, SATA power and SATA data connector only. So let's fix it onto the motherboards. There are 4 SATA ports in this motherboard. It also has a little notch on the inside the SATA port, so you can easily identify the directions of fixing it. This is the little cut here, cut downwards. So in the SATA port also you will find the same way to reverse it. Now we can fix the hard disk onto the casing. There are 2 screw holes. This is the SATA power connector from the power supply. So it also has the sideway cut mark. Now we have fixed the hard disk also. Let's power on it.